Hey guys, and welcome back. This is my second episode in my Chaos to Calm series where I'm taking you through and helping you declutter your entire space. We're currently living in an apartment, but if you're living in a home, a mobile home, a townhouse, whatever, you can follow along with these videos. They will post every single Friday, and I will be breaking this down, giving you tips, tricks, hacks, advice along the way. I recently decluttered over 65% of my possessions, my family included. This has been an amazing process, and I want to help you through it if it's a journey that you want to take as well. So go ahead and click subscribe if you want to follow along. I will leave episode 1, which was kitchen cabinets, down below so that you can get all caught up. All right, today we're gonna be tackling the pantry. And this is a really tricky one just because everybody's pantry is like a completely different situation. We're currently in a linen closet as one part of our pantry. Then we have our cans in a totally different spot. And then I actually have some food in the laundry room. The very first thing I am going to suggest doing is getting prepared. First, you're gonna want a garbage can or a garbage bag. Second, you're gonna want a box or a bin of some kind to put the food in that you are currently working on. Third, I suggest some kind of spray solution or just a damp rag to wipe the shelves down as you go. 4, some type of sticky note or notepad that's gonna help you as you're taking inventory. And I'll get more into that in a minute, but you are gonna want a pen and a piece of paper or at least a phone that you can take your notes on. Here is a quick overview of what my pantry looks like right now. I also have, like I said, food in a couple of other places, but this is the main area where we keep everything. To get started, if your floor is really messy and you can't get in, which was the story of my last pantry, and I actually will link that video for you too because it was an 8-hour ordeal, huge pantry transformation. But in this video, I'm going to be giving you different tips. So go ahead and watch this one too. But this floor isn't bad at all, so I don't need to start there. But if you can't get into your pantry or if the floor is a real problem, I recommend starting there. I'm going to take this one shelf at a time. You could also set the timer and just do 10 minutes at a time. You would be amazed at what you can get done in 10 minutes. But I'm going to take it shelf by shelf. I'm going to start at the top, grouping like things together and discarding any trash. There are actually a couple of reasons why I really like decluttering with a box or a large bin. I will give you one reason now, and that is just that I really like having things contained. It's nice to not have things all over the floor. It helps you feel more in control, and it helps you feel like you're not making such a big mess. So that's one of the reasons I enjoy it. I also like that it really forces me to only work with the things that are going to fit inside the bin. That just helps me not get as distracted and stay focused on that amount of stuff. So I was able to quickly go through this top shelf, and it really does take about 10 minutes, I would say, to do an area about this size if you're going to be wiping things down. So when you are planning to do this, I really do like the concept of either setting the timer or getting a goal set, like I'm going to do one shelf or one drawer. That's a really nice way to go about decluttering. It doesn't feel as overwhelming that way. I had a larger chunk of time today because my daughter actually took a nap, which she doesn't always do. So I was able to get through all of it, but it doesn't always happen that way. But by going shelf by shelf or drawer by drawer, it gives you a definite stopping point. Like I started here, I stopped here, and it's really nice to just gauge your progress that way too. And it encourages you to keep going because you see, wow, look at the difference between the top shelves and the bottom shelves. This is how I like to store my pastas, my grains. So I've got quinoa here. I usually Oh yeah, here's some instant brown rice. I noticed though that I don't have any noodles, like I don't have macaroni noodles. I don't have any noodles for soups. So I am going to add that to my list and it looks like I've got enough spaghetti noodles in there to make a full meal. As a little rule of thumb, I say have 2 different kinds of noodles. So I'm gonna have spaghetti noodles, and then I think I'm gonna do egg noodles this week because I know I wanna make chicken noodle soup, but maybe after those are gone, I will get some macaroni noodles. But that's just kind of like a nice way to not have too much in your pantry, is to just generally try and have 2 different varieties of, especially something like that, like noodles. Cereal, different, but I'm gonna have 2. Oh, you know what? I also think I have oats that I can put in here as well. So anyway, I've got a couple uses for these jars. They're really handy to have around. All right, look at this. I just found some elbow macaroni noodles. I'm actually gonna stick those right here because I just wanna keep jars in here. That's actually gonna be okay because I can put my oats back here. I'm gonna fill a jar up just because I like the aesthetic of it. That is not necessary, that's an extra step, but look, we've had a huge spill. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that cleaned up. This is where I'm putting the snacks that I don't want the kids to get into because I'm gonna put them in school lunches. Those are extra special treats, but this is gonna be where they will be able to just access. So we'll put this on a lower shelf so that they know whatever's in here you can get for a snack. I'm also gonna put some applesauces in here, but let's take care of this bin next because both of these. One tip I have is when you are deciding on your organization system, your bins or your containers, it's nice to choose neutral colors because in the end, and this is what I found, I do end up moving things around into other rooms of the house. You'll see in just a minute what I had left over from this pantry declutter, and it just gives you options. I can put these bins in my bedroom, any of the bathrooms, no matter where I put them in the house, they're going to look good because they're white, they're neutral. So that is one tip that I have when you're choosing your color scheme, is to choose neutral organization bins. I have 3 empty bins now, which is not what I expected. That's crazy. And I've mentioned in previous decluttering videos, don't go out and buy bins first because you actually might have more than you need in your house already. So that's another tip. I'm actually going to just make this a little bit easier on the eye. I'm going to go ahead and put whatever will fit from this shelf in this bin, and I'll just label this miscellaneous when I go out and get my labels, just so it'll look a little bit nicer. I do want to mention that I find it so helpful to label your bins. I had taken the old ones off because in the move they got crunched and some of them fell off, but I am going to be replacing those because I really did find that it was really easy to put things away when things were labeled, and it helps the rest of the family know where things go, especially after you do a grocery run. So because I had this box and then my trash bag with me, this is the only mess I have to clean up, and it's very contained. Now, if my toddler were to wake up from her nap, I could just scoot that into the laundry room and shut the door. So that is another reason it's good to have some kind of box or bin, because you can actually just set it aside and save it for later if you get interrupted. But this is always really hard to see, is how much food we've wasted. And so I recommend going through your pantry every single month, just because it keeps you accountable to the food that you have. It helps you from letting things expire because you're looking at those expiration dates every 4 weeks. So I hadn't gone through the pantry in about 2.5 months, and I've wasted so much food, and I hate that. So mark your calendar, put it in your phone, put it somewhere to remind you to go through your pantry every single month, just so that you stop wasting as much food. But if you have any other tips for that, please leave it in the comments for us below. Tips on how to waste less food. And I've cut our grocery budget in half, which is another thing that's been helping us, is just to not buy as much. So anyway, there we go. This looks so good. I can't wait to get the labels on. It'll be a lot easier and function better, but I have an idea for this shelf right here. We have been keeping cereal in one of our kitchen cabinets, and it's a little bit of a problem just because bowls here, then I have plates here, and it doesn't make tons of sense. So now that I've cleared up all that space in the pantry, I'm gonna move these to the pantry, put the plates here, and it will just function better for us. We recently had a friend give us a bunch of food because they were moving. This is not all stuff that we will eat, so there's a sock in here. I would actually like to go through it and see what maybe we can pass on. Oh my gosh, more noodles. Some of this stuff my husband might want, so I will just kind of go through it as best I can, see what I think we can use, and then I'll just leave the rest for him to go through. But once I'm done doing that, this will be a donation bin. So I will pass this on to someone else. Again, if it's not expired, if it's not opened, then why not? So that's another thing you can do with food that nobody's eating, is just pass it along. So that's what we're gonna do with this bin right here. Here is what we ended up with. Snacks for the kids' lunches, bread, baking items, some larger items that didn't really fit well into a bin. Then in here, this is my miscellaneous. I've got things like crackers, an extra pasta, some minute rice, jam, some breadcrumbs. Then of course, I've got my grains here. Then in this one, I have snacks that the kids are okay to just come and grab whenever. In here, I have things that you can make. So I have some gnocchi, brownies, pancakes, mac and cheese, just things that you can make, cornbread, jello, stuff like that. Then here is cereal, and then I had a couple loose bags, so I just tossed them right in here. And then we have appliances down at the bottom. Very last are canned goods. I have those in a completely separate area. Like I said, things are a little bit spread out in this apartment, and maybe you're kind of like that too, where you're living just a little bit spread out, and there is nothing wrong with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the cans, see if there are anything expired. I actually think I might be able to give some away because I think I've got like 10 cans of diced tomatoes, and that's too many. So let's go through the cans, and then that's gonna be it, guys. We'll be done. We have a little utility closet off of our kitchen, and this is where I keep some random things. One of them being our cans, and I think we've just got too many. I can see that they're kind of spilling over. So while I've got just a few minutes left, I'm just gonna check the expiration dates really quick. Here are the cans that I'm going to pass on to a friend. And then there were only 3 expired cans in there, and that's just because we recently moved and I went through everything, but I will go ahead and throw these away. Before you end any decluttering session, whether it was for 10 minutes or 10 hours, it doesn't matter. Try and just tie up any loose ends and clean up. So I knew that I wanted to put some oatmeal in this jar. I went ahead and did that. And then I also moved the plates over to where I wanted them to be. So that is one thing that I just cannot recommend enough, is to always clean up, put things away. That way you're not left with more stress than you started with. But here's a quick before and after. A huge, huge improvement. This took me about an hour and a half altogether. We will be continuing this declutter series next Friday with the fridge and freezer. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.